We got us a corpse and cartridge occasion.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I'm going to give you guys a little update on everything that's happened at Combo Breaker, after Combo Breaker. Talk a little bit about Yujiro. You know, that's a very big thing that's happening with Tekken right now. But first, recap. Combo Breaker might be the best event in FGC history. That's what Arsenal and Ash tweet, and a lot of people agree, myself included. Evo is kind of getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's kind of losing its roots a little bit. But Combo Breaker still gives that aura, still gives that experience that people are after. You do have crazy moments like people leaving their underwear all over the place. What is happening? You do have rumors and wild stories about freak-offs happening, orgies happening, people getting their back blown out everywhere except for the bracket. Most of these are just rumors and people having a little bit of fun on Twitter, but sometimes things actually do go wrong. Like, for example, when a swarm of fire trucks pulled up to the venue, leaving people confused. What happened is a pipe burst underground and started to flood the building.
Here's the floor is dead ass flooded. This shit is good. What the fuck, yo? You can hear that shit, bro. Oh my god.
All in all, it was a fun event. Chaos, rumors, speculations, and even some crazy leaks floating around. Another big event that players are looking forward to is EWC. For those of you who don't know, it was moved from Saudi Arabia to Paris. They put out a statement saying that in that region of the world it's getting kind of crazy. There's a lot of ongoing conflicts, so they're moving into a safer environment. President of Paris even puts out a little statement talking about how they're happy to have the event there. They'll do their best to make sure it's a great event, and they would love to host more in the future. This post got 3 million views, 26,000 likes. That's great. Over 26 titles will be involved. 3 fighting games, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and, you know, Fatal Fury is owned by a large Saudi corporation, so there's no way they're going to miss out. In total, they will be giving out $75 million. This will be broken up across the 24 games, but whoever wins Tekken, last year they walked away with $350,000. I don't know if the first place prize is equal exactly, but it's definitely going to be on that level. So big money, big competition. This is why when it got close to top 8, you saw some people break down in tears on stage, some people be angry, storm off, because this is what they're competing for. Big money on the line. Now, when we take it a step forward and we talk about the DLC characters that's been getting revealed, there's been some interesting things happening in the world of fighting games. Guilty Gear, they had Lucy revealed quite recently. Tekken 8, we had Yujiro, Hanma, legendary character. And then with Fatal Fury, you have Kenshiro. Then also you have Omni-Man with Homelander. The reason why this is worth highlighting is because for a very long time, fighting games seem to only get the bottom of the barrel in terms of characters. But now it finally seems like we can have whatever we want. And even if you go backwards in time, Harada talked about some of the ideas that he tried to do but didn't necessarily pan out. Some of those being Deadpool, that didn't pan out. John Wick, that didn't pan out. Donald Trump and Mike Tyson didn't pan out. But you can see that the developers of all of these games are getting very creative with who they're picking. The most recent of all of those is Baki, Yujiro Hanma. This character is going viral. I will do a separate video and talk about the offshoot conversation. Some people are upset that it's this guy and they're upset for various particular reasons, but ignoring all of that for now, save it for later. Just talking about how this guy is going viral. This is what I wanted out of Tekken. Tekken needed a character that just grabs the internet and says, pay attention. And I really didn't know Baki had this kind of pull. I only knew of characters like Goku, Dragon Ball, Naruto, you know, Bleach, Ichigo, those kind of things, right? I didn't know that this anime, I guess I didn't believe you guys. Tekken players have been telling me for years that this guy is the truth, and I did not listen. But know that I know now. This guy has a presence like no other, and he is creating conversations like no other. The trailer on Twitter has 9 million views. I have never seen a Tekken trailer get that big. I am seeing some of the most viral tweets ever in relation to Tekken. This is a huge announcement, and for that, I am happy because this is what I wanted. I wanted Tekken to have a character who literally stops everything and says, pay attention. And he does that. So good job, Bandai Namco. The players are happy. I'm happy. I think this whole season pass lineup is fire. There's a character there for everyone. His announcement was so big to where Tekken 8 sales skyrocketed on Steam. The global charts, it placed 58. United States, it placed 66. Japan, it placed 21st. In Brazil, it placed 23rd. This was a pretty big thing. So big, in fact, another news outlet picked up on it, aka stole my tweet. Stole my tweet, and then they reposted it and got 14,000 likes. This was celebrated so much by the players, and it was awesome to see people be happy for Tekken again. I know there's some people who are like, you guys are too happy, the game is unbalanced, you're getting carried away. And I understand you guys feel that way. I understand there's still more work to be done for balance, but one step at a time. Tekken was looking real grim, especially with Tifa on the horizon of Street Fighter, so we just needed a win in this category, but we also need wins in other categories. And on that point, we still have the balance update coming. I'm not going to read this screenshot because I've read it too many times already and I'm tired of reading it. Now it's time for action. Kunimitsu will release in like 2 days. About time you guys see this video, I should be staring at patch notes and we should see firsthand what they're doing next, and then maybe it will be another big W for Tekken. Also, there was an offshoot conversation where people were highlighting how Street Fighter did a little bit of a collaboration with Baki in the past, 2023 to be exact, and that collaboration at the time seemed like a huge W for them, but really they just got a couple of customizations and monetization. We got the character, we got the real deal. And for anyone think that this isn't a bigger deal than Clive from Final Fantasy doesn't know metrics. 100 million versus 3.5 million sold. Tekken is back. This is a tweet that Dell puts out, and it's literally highlighting a manga for Baki and how it sold 100 million copies, but then at the same time, the most recent Final Fantasy game only sold 3.5 million, and this was also considered to be a flop by the people who make Final Fantasy. Something else that we also have to talk about is the fake leaks. I posted 2 of them. These leaks caused a lot of chaos. For example, the most viral of the 2 is the one about the Sword Art Online character. It had over 1 million views. A lot of people were laughing, trolling, calling me names, etc. And one could argue whether or not I deserve it. Putting a crazy leak like this out there into the world, getting a lot of people angry at Bandai Namco, this is something that I have to work on and get better at. The person who originally posted this leak, I blocked them on Twitter so I could never interact with their tweets ever again, because this person, to my understanding, post troll tweets all the time, and I had no knowledge of that. When I'm trying to keep the players informed and tell them what's going on, I have to stay away from accounts like this. I don't know how people on Twitter know who's trolling and who's not trolling. People all knew this guy was trolling except for me. So I guess this was me finding out the hard way. Someone else who found out the hard way is a person who sent my tweet to Harada and basically threatened him. If this isn't a joke, you better start living like it's your last week, little man. Harada responded to this guy and said, "You typical loudmouth loser on the internet. You're about 10 years too early to be threatening me, you piece of trash. I am no longer involved, so don't ask me for anything about Tekken. Just sit there watching your tournaments while your mommy holds you. You little piece of," you see, Harada crashed out on him. Now, this person eventually deleted their tweet and they backed down saying, like, I was just trolling, like, calm down. Of course, everyone does this, where they say something crazy to you, and then when you respond and fold, they either say, why are you getting so emotional? Or they say it was a joke. One thing that I do want to highlight is how people blamed me for this. We all love Harada crashing out, but don't forget it was all instigated by Moonsault Slayer, who tweeted fake leaks. And to that, I disagree. You can blame me and make fun of me for spreading false information. I'll own that. But saying that I instigated this situation where a deranged lunatic would say something crazy to a developer, that's not true. That's not on me. I said multiple times before that you must respect everyone. You cannot go around threatening people whether you're serious or joking. You can't do that. In season 2, we had this conversation before where a lot of people were upset about the game, and some people just uninstalled the game, and then some people made real physical threats to the developers, and we all had to say, whoa, 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 whoa. We dislike Lydia just as much as the next guy, but threatening the developers is not acceptable, and that's exactly what I say now. If you see what I post, good or bad, because I'm covering all of the news, don't go and harass no one. But also, I seen this tweet here as well, highlighting the same thing, how moonsault slayers jumping from thing to thing to thing, and that's something I'll work on in the future. Moving on though, while we're talking about Harada, he went and visited a different event at the same time of Combo Breaker. It is MomoCon. He was there for 3 days, meeting with people, talking with people. While he was there, he was on stage for a little bit and he was given a little bit of a speech, a little bit of a discussion. Question that was brought up was about Waffle House and what happened with the collab. Harada said he contacted Waffle House 3 times while working on Tekken 8, but their PR team never responded. The quote from him says, "Maybe they seen my video game and think, oh no, too violent." But this is where you guys come in and reach out to Waffle House because I love Waffle House, is what Harada says. And so much so to where he finally paid a visit to the building. He paid $5 for a menu, and he said, he made a little joke at the end. He said, "But I'll be back at 3 a.m. for the fight." And you can see he took a couple of pictures outside the venue. He took a picture inside holding one of the iconic chairs that we've seen thrown in every video. He took a picture sitting down eating dinner, and then he also took one of the meal. Lastly, 2 things I want to highlight. Epic Games teased Unreal Engine 6. We'll see whether or not Tekken 9 is developed on this. We don't know a timeline currently, but I'll keep you guys updated. And then next thing is Ed Boon, where he simply asked the players, which would you want to see remastered first, MK Shaolin Monks or Mortal Kombat 9? And Mortal Kombat 9 barely lost out MK Shaolin Monks if this poll holds up over time. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and bye-bye.